Okay, so good afternoon and a warm welcome to the AdmisTech team and my dear students. Myself Nimesh Davda, and I am here to conduct the booster session for complex examination 2021, and especially it is dedicated for the AdmisTech team and to our Nepal students who are appearing for this examination. Now, in our last session, we had covered up the fundamentals and few of the problems dealing with the concepts of algebra. That is, we covered up the determinants, matrices, permutation and combination, and binomial theorem. Today we will be starting off with the coordinate geometry 1. We will be looking forward to the fundamentals of straight lines and pair of straight lines and circles. Okay, so this is our today's topic of discussion. So let's get started with the coordinate geometry 1. Now, when it comes to the booster session part of the complex classes, the prime thing which we need to look out, that is, you all we do believe that you all have practiced a lot of problems related to the straight lines and pair of straight lines and other topics, but the key parameters which you need to revise, that is the formula or the concepts which you are applying it in your simplification of problems, right? So in this session, it will be, a guiding parameter for you all, wherein we will be offering you once again a quick recap of whatsoever the fundamentals you have studied in the portion of coordinate geometry 1. So the first and the foremost part of straight line and pair of straight lines, that is, to define a straight line, it is very easy to define that it is an infinite length line that does not have any curves on it. Okay, so we can say that if a line meets the x-axis in the point a comma 0, then a is called as the x-intercept, as you can find right over here on the screen. And if it meets the y-axis in the point 0 comma b, then b is called the y-intercept of the line that you can find over here. Now, it is important to note that a line parallel to x-axis has no intercept. That means the line will be just like this way, that this is the axis system, okay, coordinate system we are drawing it. And if a line is parallel to x-axis, then it can be either located like this way, or it can be located like this way, that is in the positive direction of y-axis, or negative direction of y-axis it can be located. So it does not have any x-intercept. That means it is not having any intercept on the x-axis. Okay, in a similar way, if a line is parallel to y-axis, okay, then it has no y-intercept. Now that line will be of the form just the way I am drawing it right over here. It can be like this way, or it can be like this way, that is on the negative x-axis or on the positive x-axis. Okay, that means it is not having any intersection with y-axis. Okay, so this is the key parameter of the things to know related to the intercept form. Now, inclination of a line, that is the degree at which any line is inclined. You can find this inclination right over here, that value theta, that is the smallest angle made by a line with the positive direction of the x-axis, and it is measured in anti-clockwise sense. Okay, that is known as inclination of the line. So it is having a range, that is 0 degree. Theta value is ranging from 0 degree to 180 degree. Okay, it can be 0 degree less or equal to theta less than 180 degree. This range needs to be kept in mind, that what is the range of inclination of a line. Okay, because these kind of questions may get asked to you in your examination part, that what is the range of inclination of a line. So at that point of time, we may sometimes remember that okay, it was less or equal to theta 0 less or equal to theta less than 180, or it was 0 less than theta less than 180. So that time we may fumble out in the answering of the given question. So it is important to note over here that what is the range of this particular concept. Now, next is the slope of a line. Now, if the inclination of a line is theta, as you can find over here, this line L, let's say this line is L and it is inclined at a certain angle theta, then tan of theta, okay, tan of theta, if it exists, is called the slope of the line. And it can be found out with the help of this formula, which is provided over here. That is the difference of the y coordinates of the points and the difference of the x coordinates of the points. Okay, so let's say if the two coordinates are offered to us as a x1 y1 and b x2 y2, wherein the coordinates of x1 and x2 are not same. Okay, they are different. So x1 is not equal to x2. This is the condition. If it happens x1 equal to x2, then ultimately this will be 0 and 10 will be undefined. Okay, so it is important to note over here that if the theta is acute, we can say if theta is acute, that is it is ranging from 0 to pi by 2, so the slope will be positive 1, and if it theta is obtuse, then it will be negative 1. Okay, so if the range of theta is from 0 degree to 90 degree, then we can say that the slope value is positive, and if it is from the range pi by 2 to pi, then it is negative. Make sure 0 less than theta less than pi by 2, it is not having any equality sign, inequality over here. Okay, so to write this in the form of intervals, so I can also write this particular in the interval format as 0 to pi by 2. Okay, it's an open interval. In a similar way, to write this in the form of interval form, we can write it like this way: pi by 2. Okay, open interval pi by 2 comma pi, and once again an open interval is closed. So make sure these both are open intervals. Now let us proceed ahead further with the discussion of the other important fundamentals, that is the necessary and sufficient conditions for three distinct points in R2 space to be collinear. Okay, so if let's say if in two dimensions we are having three distinct points as a x1 y1, b x2 y2, and c x3 y3. Okay, so the necessary and sufficient condition that is required to check whether these are collinear or not, that is the determinant value. Okay, the determinant value of x1 y1, x2 y2, x3 y3, that must be equal to 0. Okay, so determinant of x1 y1 1, x2 y2 1, and x3 y3 1 must be equal to 0. And if it is non-zero, then definitely the points are not said to be collinear. Now what is the meaning of the word collinear? All the three set of points are in a same straight line. Okay, this is the ultimate meaning of collinearity. Now to find out the angle between two intersecting lines, let's say if any line, okay, if it is inclined like this way, and it is making a certain angle with another line like this way. Okay, so what is the angle between two lines, how it can be found out? So this value can be found out using this fundamental, that is tan of theta. It is equal to modulus of m1 minus m2, the whole divided by 1 plus m1 m2, that is where theta is acute angle, that means the range of theta is from 0 to pi by 2. Okay, we'll have a look at the problem which will help us in the simplification of this kind of problem set. Now to have a look at whether the lines are parallel or perpendicular, we already studied the concept of slope just before few minutes. So what is the condition for two lines to be perpendicular? The condition is the slopes, okay, the multiplication of the slopes, that value, if it is equal to -1, we can say that the two lines are perpendicular. Okay, so if the slopes of the given lines are taken into product and that product value turns out to be negative of 1, then we can say that the two lines are perpendicular. Okay, and in a similar way, for the condition for the two lines to be parallel, for that what we need to check, the slope values must remain equal. If the slope values are not equal, then the lines are not parallel, and if it is equal, the lines are said to be parallel. Okay, let's have a look at few of the further exploration of the concepts, that is equation of line in standard form. Okay, equation of line in standard form. So we will find over here few of the fundamentals that is provided, that showcases that how many forms of equation of a straight line can fall into practice. The first form which is offered to us, that is the point slope form. Now what is the point slope form? There you will be provided with one point, okay, that is x1 comma y1, and one slope will be provided to you. Okay, and you need to simply have a substitution of these values to obtain the answer to your question. That is very simple to understand. Okay, so the equation for the slope point form or point slope form, we can write it as y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. Okay, so this is the equation to note it down. Then after the slope intercept form, that means you are having one slope value in the question and the intercept value c will be provided to you. Now make sure this intercept value c is on y axis. Okay, this intercept value is on y axis. So equation of slope intercept form, that is given by y equals mx plus c. Okay, so this is the equation to note down. Then after, if 2 points are given to you, let's say a x1 y1 and b x2 y2, and you are supposed to find the equation of line passing through the 2 points as given. So the equation turns out to be framed as x minus x1 divided by x2 minus x1 equals y minus y1 divided by y2 minus y1. This is the thing which we are supposed to remember. And the point values you are simply substituting in this equation, and then after simplification you are obtaining the equation of the line which passes through the two given points. I believe the fundamentals up to this particular portion is well understood by each and every student. You can have your confirmation with a Y in the chat window. Okay, okay, thank you for the confirmation. Now, the next part which we'll be looking forward to, that is the double intercept form. Okay, the double intercept form wherein you are having the values of x intercepts and y intercepts in the question itself. Let's say if the x intercept value is 2, y intercept value is 3 in the question, and you are supposed to frame the equation of the line. So that can be framed using this particular equation, that is x upon a plus y upon b equals 1, wherein the x intercept, that is the a value which will be provided to you in the question itself, and the y intercept, that is the b value, that will also be provided in the question itself, and then you need to do the further simplification and you are done with your result. Okay, now next category of equation of line in standard form, that is the normal form, which states that the equation of the line, the normal to which from the origin has length p, okay, and the normal makes angle alpha with the positive directions of the x-axis. So it is given by x cos alpha plus y sin alpha equal to p. Now students, you need not to worry because the value of alpha will be provided to you in the question. Okay, the value of alpha will be provided. Alpha is an angle which the line makes with the positive direction of x-axis. Okay, that value will be stated in the question, and then the value of p will also be provided. Okay, p is nothing but it is the length p which is having the distance from the origin. Okay, so the normal to which from the origin has length p. Okay, so that particular length is known is it will be provided to you in the question itself, and simple substitution in this equation will give you the result of your set problem. Now the last part of this particular equation of line in standard forms which we are about to discuss, that is the general form. Now general form of equation of line, that is if ax plus by plus c equals 0, then this is known as the general form of the equation of line. Okay, so these are the basics which you are supposed to have a look onto before appearing for your examination. And after overlooking at this basics part, you will be definitely able to simplify your problems with an ease. Okay, now let's explore a few further part of this conceptual learning of the straight lines and pair of straight lines, that is dealing with the parametric equations of a line and Cartesian equation of a line. Okay, so parametric equation of line can be formed by using the fundamental as provided over here, that is if two points a x1 y1 and b x2 y2, okay, if 2 points a x1 y1 and b x2 y2 belong to R2, okay, that is these are the dimensions which are offered to you in two-dimension system. Now x is given by t x2 plus 1 minus x1 and y equals t y1 plus 1 minus y2, where t belongs to R are called the parametric equations of line and t is the given parameter. Now in the question, the value of t and the set of points, that is a and b, will be provided to you. A simple substitution of all these will result into your required parametric equations of a line. That's it. Now to obtain the Cartesian equation of a line, you need to have a look on to these particular points. That is, let's say if a x1 comma y1 and b x2 comma y2 belong to R2 and these are the distinct points. Okay, so Cartesian equation of line in R2 can be framed by using this particular part, that is x1 y1 x2 y2. Okay, and the usage of determinant will readily help you out in the forming of Cartesian equation of a line. Okay, and the intercepts of the line, that is ax plus by plus c equals 0. So x intercept can be calculated using the fundamental as minus c by a and y intercept can be calculated by using the fundamental as minus c by b. That's it. So generally the parametric and Cartesian equations are not asked in the question. These are the additional concept which I have introduced, but you need to have a look at the previous portions, that is the equation of lines in standard forms as listed over here, and this will readily help you out in the simplification of your problems. Okay, and take a look at this intercepts of the line ax plus by plus c equals 0, wherein a and b are non-zero values. So this can be asked to you, but need not to worry related to these portions. Moving ahead with the next part, that is the distance, perpendicular distance of an outside point from a line. Okay, so that distance value can be computed using this particular formula, wherein it is given as perpendicular distance p equals modulus of a x1 plus b y1 plus c modulus over the whole divided by under root of a square plus b square. Now what is this? The value of point P. Okay, let's say, let me draw a situation over here. Let's say this is the point P. Okay, and this is our line. Now the perpendicular distance from this point to our line, that can be computed with the help of this formula. Okay, this point P is having the coordinate values as x1 y1 and the equation of line, that is, let's say it is ax plus by plus c equals 0. Okay, so these values are there. Now what you need to do, the a and b values you need to take from this equation of line, a b and c values you are supposed to take from the equation of line, and then the x1 y1 values you are supposed to extract from this point which is provided to in the question, and substitute all these values in this equation of perpendicular distance, and there you go with the solution of your given question. Right, now the next fundamental that we are looking forward to, that is the perpendicular distance between two parallel lines. Okay, now the case is of two parallel lines, so it can be of any of the inclination, that is the lines can be inclined like this way, okay, or it can be inclined like this way. So any set of inclination can come into picture, but the key parameter that we are supposed to look out, that is the intercepts. Okay, the intercept value that is to be looked out. So it is nothing but it is the difference of the intercept values under root of a square plus b square. Since the lines are parallel, so we need to have a look at only the intercept values. We are not supposed to look at these values, as these two values will be same. Okay, so this is where we will simplify the questions based on perpendicular distance between two parallel lines or perpendicular distance of an outside point from a line. Okay, any queries up till now? Are these concepts properly understood? You can type Y in the chat window. All right. Moving ahead with the next part, that is straight condition for two lines to be coincident, parallel, perpendicular, or intersecting. So based on these conditions, we are able to conclude that the given lines are coincident or parallel or perpendicular, or they are intersecting each other. Okay, so what are these conditions? Let's have a look one by one. So let's say that we are having two different lines, namely L1 and L2, and the equations are given as a1x plus b1y plus c1 equals 0 and a2x plus b2y plus c2 equals 0. Now L1 and L2 are coincident if a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2 is equal to c1 upon c2. If this ratio is satisfied properly, okay, then we can conclude that the given lines are coincident. Okay, we can conclude that the given lines are coincident. Then after, the next condition, that is L1 and L2 to be parallel. So if L1 and L2 are parallel, if and only if we can come to a conclusion that A1 upon A2 is equal to B1 upon B2, but A1 upon A2 is not equal to C1 upon C2. Okay, so this thing we need to keep in mind. Then after, L1 and L2 are said to be perpendicular if A1 A2 plus B1 B2 equals 0. Okay, this is the condition for the lines to have perpendicular, that is both the lines are said to be perpendicular if and only if we can say that a1 a2 plus b1 b2 equals 0. And lastly, L1 and L2 intersect each other if a1 b2 is not equal to a2 b1. Okay, if a1 b2 is not equal to a2 b1, and also they are, since they are intersecting, then the coordinates of the points of intersection can be computed using this particular part, that is b1 c2 minus b2 c1 upon a1 b2 minus a2 b1 comma c1 a2 minus c2 a1 upon a1 b2 minus a2 b1. So denominator of both the coordinates are same if you look out. Only the change happens wherein over here b1 c2 minus b2 c1 and c1 a2 minus a2 c1. Okay, now the necessary and sufficient condition for lines to be concurrent, that is they are either emerging at a certain point value. Now for that, the condition is the given lines, okay, a1x plus b1y plus c1 equals 0. These are the set of lines a2x plus b2y plus c2 equals 0 and a3x plus b3y plus c3 equals 0. So there are three lines, and the necessary and sufficient condition for these lines to be concurrent, the conditions are the determinant values, that is the minor values we can say, okay, a1 b1 a2 b2. Okay, if you look at the minor values, then minor values are non-zeros, and the determinant value, that is a1 b1 c1 a2 b2 c2 and a3 b3 c3, all these values are 0. Okay, the determinant value is 0. So this thing we need to keep in mind, that these set of values, that is the minor values, are non-zero, and the determinant value entirely is 0. So this is the condition for check whether the lines are concurrent or not. Now what is the meaning of concurrent? Concurrent means that the lines are either emerging from a certain point or meeting at a certain point. Then after, we'll have a look at few of the problems on straight lines and pair of straight lines for practice aspect. So the first problem which we'll be looking forward to, that is the two lines L1 and L2 have the slope values 2 and minus 1 by 2 respectively. Now these lines are of what category? Let's have a look at the options. Either they are parallel, perpendicular, inclined at an acute angle, or none of these. So what's your opinion? What to do in this case? See, we are having the value, slope value m1, this is equal to 2, and m2, that is equal to minus 1 by 2. Now if you have a check on our conceptual part, okay, which we have already discussed. So What is discussed over here, that m1 m2 is equal to -1, so lines are said to be perpendicular, and if m1 equal to m2, then lines are said to be parallel. So definitely, if in this particular case, if we observe that 2 into -1 by 2 will yield the answer -1, so our answer is perpendicular. I do believe that this particular portion is well understood by each and every student. Kindly provide confirmation why in the chat window. All right. All right. Thank you for the confirmation. We'll proceed ahead further with the next problem. The next problem is find the acute angle between the lines having slope values as 3 and -2. Okay. Now this is very easy to simplify. We know that the acute angle formula, that is given by tan of theta, that is equal to modulus of m1 minus m2 the whole divided by 1 plus m1 m2. Now this is the value of m1, that is 3. This is the value of m2, this is -2. Simple substitution of these values, that is 3 minus -2 the whole divided by 1 plus m1 is 3 and it is -2. So ultimately it is 5 upon, say it is 1 plus -6, so it is -5. So 5 upon -5, so it is ultimately modulus of -1. Now tan theta is equal to modulus of -1. So tan theta equal to 1. Okay, since modulus of -1 value, that is 1. Now tan theta equal to 1, that means which particular angle of tan it is signifying? Yes, definitely. Your answer is correct. Let's have a look at the options also, which are listed over here. So the options are 30, 40, 60, 45, and none of these. And yes, the answer is 45 degree. Okay. Now let's proceed ahead further with the next problem. The equation of the line passing through the point a2, 1, and it has the slope value as -2. Okay. So how to simplify this? The point value is provided to us, that is a2, 1, and slope value is -3. So the slope point form comes into picture. Now the equation for slope point form, that is y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. Now this is the x1 value, this is the y1 value, and this is the m value. Simple substitution will give you the answer. So it is y minus 1, that is equal to -3 x minus 2. So it is y minus 1 equals -3x plus 6. So it is equal to, if I take the -3x towards the left hand side, it is plus 3x. Okay. So it is 3x plus y, and if I take this plus 6 to left hand side, it is -6. So 3x plus y -6 minus 1, that is -7 equals 0, and this is our required equation. Let's have a look at the option. Yes, 3x plus y -7 equals 0. This is the answer. So our option A will be the correct answer to the given question. Okay. I do believe the problem number 3 is well clear to each and every student. If you have any query, then you may have the queries in the chat window. Is it understood? Kindly confirm it with a Y. Okay, okay. Thank you for the confirmation. We'll proceed further. Problem 4. The equation of line passing through two different points, that is a2, 1 and b1, 2. Now it is very easy to simplify. X1, Y1 values are provided to you. X2, Y2 values are provided to you. Now simple substitution in the formula. Formula is x minus x1 upon x2 minus x1. Okay. Y minus y1 upon y2 minus y1. Now simply substitute the values of x and y in this formula. So it is y minus y1 upon y2, that is 2, minus y1, that is 1, equals x minus 2 upon x2, that is 1, minus 2. Okay. So if you take the further simplification steps, then it is 2 minus 1 is 1. So it is y minus 1 upon 1. So it is y minus 1 equals x minus 2 upon minus 1. Therefore, if you apply this minus 1 into this particular numerator, then it turns out to be y minus 1 equals minus x plus 2. And if I bring down minus x plus 2 towards the left hand side, it is x plus y minus 3 equals 0. Let's have a look at the options which are provided. That is x minus y minus 3 equals 0, x plus y. Okay, so we are having this equation x plus y minus 3 equals 0. That is option B, and hence option B is the correct answer. Okay. Next problem. The distance of the point P from the line 3x plus 4y plus 14 equals 0 is how much? Now over here we have the x1, y1 values as 2 and 5 respectively, and also we have a, b and c values as 3, 4 and 14 respectively. Now the perpendicular distance from the point to the line, that is given by P equals modulus of a x1 plus b y1 plus c modulus over upon under root of a square plus b square. Now if you simply have the substitution of all the set of values, you may come across the final answer. So let's substitute these values and obtain our answer. So it is a value is 3, product with 2 plus b value, that is 4, product with 5 plus c value, that is 14, and it is whole divided by 3 square plus 4 square. Now the simplification of these values will result into 6 plus 4 into 5 is 20 plus 14, the whole divided by under root of 3 square plus 4 square, that is 9 plus 16, that is 25. So under root of 25, that is 5, and then after the simplification of 6 plus 20 plus 14, that is 40. Now since it is positive, I will remove the modulus sign and take the only positive value. So 40 by 5, that gives you the answer as 8 units. Okay. So let's have a look at the options. And yes, you can find 8 units as the correct answer. Now let's proceed our discussion with the next part of the chapter, that is circles. So coordinate geometry 1, the next fundamental which we'll be looking across to, that is the circles. In the straight lines, whatsoever the fundamentals were necessary to be discussed, that we have already discussed. Now let's proceed ahead with the circles discussion. So what is circle? Circle is a set of all points in a plane at a constant distance from a fixed point in the plane is called circle. Okay. So as you can observe that the fixed point is called center C, H comma K, and the fixed distance, that is called as radius. Now various forms of equations of circle, like we discussed the various forms of equation of straight line, we'll also discuss the various forms of equations of circle. So the Cartesian form, okay, the Cartesian form of equation of circle, that is for center h comma k and radius r, is given by r square equals x minus h the whole square plus y minus k the whole square. Okay, then after standard form, that is the equation of circle with center as origin 0 comma 0 and radius r. Now if you observe students that the center is origin, so this h value and k value is 0 in this particular equation, so we can readily write this equation as x square plus y square equals r square. Okay, then after the diameter form, the diameter form, that is you are provided with the endpoints of diameter, namely the coordinates will be provided to you as x1 y1 and x2 y2, and you are supposed to construct the equation. So the construction of equation is very easy. What you need to do, simply have the substitution of x1 y1 x2 y2 in this equation, that is x minus x1 into x minus x2 plus y minus y1 into y minus y2 equals 0, and then do the simplification and you obtain the equation of circle in the diametric form. Now general form and its condition. So what is the general equation of circle? Now see, there are confusion sometimes that the standard form and general form are confused. So standard form is x square plus y square equal to r square, and that is for the equation of circle with center as origin. Whereas the general form of the equation of circle is given by x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equals 0, wherein this g square plus f square minus c is always greater than 0. Why? Because radius value is given by under root of g square plus f square minus c. Okay, so this has to be greater than 0, otherwise it is not a circle. Now the center points are the center point is taken as h comma k, that is equal to minus g minus f. Okay, that is computed using minus g minus f, that is the center point, and parametric form can be calculated using this formula, that is x is equal to h plus r cos theta and y is equal to k plus r sin theta, wherein the parametric form of circle is x square plus y square plus r square. Okay, theta is called the parameter value. Now see, if the center is origin, okay, if the center is origin, so this equation can be rewritten as x is equal to r cos theta, okay, x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta, and this theta is the parameter value. That means if the value of changes, then definitely the equation may get affected. Let's observe few more fundamentals based on circles, that is on what basis can we say that circle touches x-axis? Okay, so the radius is equal to the y coordinate of the circle, modulus of y coordinate of the circle, that is equal to modulus of k, and the r value is equal to modulus of k, that gives the k value to be plus or minus r. So this r value can be either, either above the x-axis or below the x-axis, and hence this is taken as a positive coordinate or a negative coordinate, as you observe over here. Now the center of a circle is given by h. See, this x value is constant, h is constant in both the cases, whereas r value, it is getting changed. If it is towards the positive side of the y axis, then it is taken as positive r, and if it is towards the negative side of y axis, then it is taken as negative r. Now the equation of the circle turns out to be in that sense x minus h the whole square plus y plus or minus r square the is equal to r square. Okay, so this is the equation of circle for circle touching x axis. Proceeding ahead, circle touching y axis. Now the case is quite getting changed. If you observe that the radius is coming over here, r comma minus r comma k value we are considering it. In the previous case, we observed that h comma r and h comma minus r. In this case, we will observe that it is minus r comma k and r comma k. So radius is equal to modulus of x coordinate of the center of the circle, that is equal to modulus of h. So h value can be positive or negative. Okay, if you remove this modulus sign, then we come across two different values of h, that is either positive r or negative r. Now the center of the circle can be given can be found out by using C is equal to plus or minus r comma k, and the equation of the circle is nothing but it is x plus or minus r the whole square plus y minus k the whole square equals r square. Now in the question you will be offered with any two values and one value may be unknown to you, so that you are about to find out. Or if you are asked to find out the equation of circle having the center point and radius, so you can find out using this particular part. Now circle touching both the axes. Now whenever a circle touches both the axes, we definitely can understand that the the center points of these circles are having the range as plus or minus r. Okay, the x coordinate and y coordinate of the center point, that is h comma k, can have the values taking from minus r to plus r. Okay, both the values can get fluctuated, so it depends on the condition which is specified to us. Now the centers of the circle are written as r comma plus or minus r, or minus r comma plus or minus r. Okay, and the radius value is r. Now the equations of the circle can be found out using this particular, this equation. It is stated over here, that is x plus r the whole square plus y plus or minus r the whole square equal to r square, or we can also write it as x minus r the whole square plus y plus or minus r the whole square is equal to r square. Now if the circle touches x axis at the origin, okay, if it touches x axis at the origin, then the center point of x coordinate is 0. Now we are having only y coordinate in that sense, so it is 0 comma plus or minus r. And if it touches the y axis at the origin, so the center point is 0 at y axis, y coordinate is 0 of center, and the x coordinate turns out to be plus or minus r. Okay, proceeding ahead further, that is the length of chord and tangent. So the length of chord can be, it is the chord which cut off on the x-axis by the circle. The length of the chord cut off on the x-axis by the circle can be found out using this particular equation, and the length of chord value can be computed using this. So the equation of circle will be provided to you. You need to either transform that equation in the form of x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c, and then you need to compute the value of the length of chord. Okay, otherwise if the equation is directly of this form, that is x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c, then directly you can take the values of g and c and have the substitution of those values, and you can compute the length of chord. And if it is to be found for y axis, if it is to be found for y axis, then it is 2 under root of f square minus c. Over here we are taking g square minus c, over here we are taking f square minus c. Only this is only the key difference between both these things. See, this thing we need to figure it out, that the chord is cut off on x axis or on y axis, and accordingly we use the formula. Okay, now the length of tangent. So the length of tangent can be from the external point P x1 comma y1 to the circle, and that length can be computed using this formula, which is given by under root of x1 square plus y1 square minus r square. Now this x1 comma y1 is the point which is located externally from the circle, and if the equation is of this form, okay, that is x square plus y square equal to r square, then we are taking the length of tangent as under root of x1 square plus y1 square minus r square. And if the equation of circle is of this format, okay, so for that we are taking the length of tangent as under root of x1 square plus y1 square plus 2gx1 plus 2 fy1 plus c. So this is the thing which we need to take a note onto it. Then after the equation of tangent, up till now we have looked at the length of chord and tangent. Now we'll have a look at the length equation of tangent. So the equation of tangent to the circle is given to the circle x square plus y square equals r square at point P x1 comma y1 on the given circle is x1 plus y1 equals r square. Okay, let's say the circle is like this way, and this is the tangent, and this is the point P. Okay, the touching point of the tangent and circle. So point P is given as x1 y1, we need to simply substitute the values of x1 and y1 in this particular equation, and then we get the equation for tangent. Now make sure equation of tangent is nothing but it is the equation of a line, since tangent is a line. So the equation of tangent to the circle at p x1 comma y1 on the circle, if the equation of circle is given as this particular format, so it is the equation of tangent is written as x x1 plus y y1 plus g into bracket x plus x1 plus f into bracket y plus y1 plus c equals 0. So these are few different points which we need to look out before simplification of any of the problems based on circles. Proceeding ahead with the point, that is position of point P with reference to circle. That means where is the locus of P. So the position of point P relative to the circle x square plus y square equals r square. There are few different points which we need to take a note onto it. That is x1 square plus y1 square minus r square equals 0. If this condition prevails, then we can come to a conclusion that this point P lies on the circle. That means it is exactly on the circle. Now if the value of x1 square plus y1 square minus r square is greater than 0, then point P lies outside the circle. And if the value of x1 square plus y1 square minus r square is less than 0, then it is inside the circle. Okay, so ultimately if the value equals 0, then point is lying on the circle. If the value of this simplification is greater than 0, then it is outside the circle. And if it is having the simplification value to be lesser than 0, then it is lying inside the circle. So based on this, we can come to the conclusion of the position of a point with reference to a circle. Now, if the equation of circle is of this particular format, that is the general equation. So this can be, once again, we are going to take the similar steps over here, that if the simplification is 0, then it lies on the circle. If the simplification is greater than 0, it lies outside the circle. And if the simplification is less than 0, it lies inside the circle. So these are few of the, fundamentals which we need to look on, wherein the position of a point relative to circle is to be discussed. Now the further part of the fundamentals, that is common tangents to a circle. So the number of common tangents to two circles, okay, if two circles are there, so how many common tangents? Now what is common tangent? That is common to both the circles. So if two circles touch each other internally, then only one common tangent can be drawn. Okay, let's say this case can be picturized like this way. Let's say a circle is over here given like this way, and another circle, it just touches over here at this particular point. So we can construct only one tangent which is common to both the circles. Now if two circles intersect in two distinct points, then two common tangents can be drawn. Okay, so the case can be picturized like this way. So it touches the circle 8. If the two circles intersects in two distinct points, then two common tangents can be drawn, one like this way and another one like this way. Now if two circles touch each other externally, then three common tangents can be drawn. And if two circles do not intersect or do not touch each other, then four tangents can be drawn. So these are the common steps. These are the common fundamentals which we need to look onto it, whether when we come to know that the circles are touching each other, whether externally, whether internally, and how many tangents can be common to them. So for that we need to remember these fundamentals. Next part is intersection of a line and a circle. So the equation of circle is given by, once again, x square plus y square equals r square, and the equation of a line is given as ax plus by plus c equals 0. So we need to have a condition over here, that is a square plus b square is a non-zero value. Now if the square of radius value is greater than c square upon a square plus b square, then the line intersects the circle in two distinct points. Okay, if this value is greater, then it intersects in two distinct points. if the square of radius value is lesser than the c square upon a square plus b square, the line does not intersect the circle, and if it is equal, then it just touches the circle at a particular point. So these are the conditions for intersection of a line and circle. Now, based on this, the few of the MCQs can be constructed. That is, they may offer you one line and a circle, and based on it, you are supposed to check. Okay, the equation can be provided to you of circle as x square plus y square is equal to, let's say it is 16, and x plus 2y plus 5 equals 0. So these kind of things may be asked to you, and then you are supposed to check whether that r square value is greater than c square upon a square plus b square, or r square value is lesser than c square upon a square plus b square, or r square value is equal to c square upon a square plus b square. So now the last part of the discussion, that is relative positions of two circles in a plane. Now, if the distance AB, okay, if the distance AB is equal to R1 plus R2, where A and B are centers of the circle, two different circles are having the coordinates as A and B. So if AB distance is equal to R1 plus R2, it indicates that both the circles touch each other externally. If this AB distance is equal to modulus of R1 minus R2, then both the circles touch each other internally. Okay. Then after, if modulus of R1 minus R2 is less than AB value, that is the distance between two center points of the circle, is less than the sum of both the radiuses of the circle, then we can come to a conclusion that both the circles intersect in two distinct points. That is the case of like this way. And if AB value is greater than R1 plus R2, then we can come to a conclusion that they are not touching each other, okay, or they do not intersect each other. The last part, that is, if AB value is less than modulus of R1 minus R2, then one circle lies inside the circle. Now, the conditions for tangency and coordinates of point of contact, that is, if a line is a tangent to a circle, then how can we come to know that it is a tangent or not? So for that, the condition is c square is equal to r square into bracket 1 plus m square. Now what is the c, r and m values? The c is the intercept value of the line, which will be provided to you in the question. In a similar way, the slope value will be provided to you and radius of circle will be provided to you. You need to check whether this equality is satisfying or not. If it is satisfying, then definitely the given line is a tangent to the given circle. Okay, and that point of contact, at which point is it touching, that can be found using this particular result, that is minus mr square by c comma r square by c, where the c value is a non-zero value. That means it is having certain intercept. Okay, the next part is the coordinates for the point of contact, that is the centers of circles are provided to us as c1 and c2. c1 is x1 y1, c2 is x2 y2, and the radii are offered to us as r1 and r2. So if they touch each other externally, okay, if they touch each other externally, then the coordinates of the point of contact will be given to you as r1 x2 plus r2 x1 upon r1 plus r2. Similarly over here, r1 y2 plus r2 y1 upon r1 plus r2. Now, the only difference between external point of contact and internal point of contact, that is, over here the sign changes. Over here it is plus sign and here it is minus sign. The rest of the part is same. Okay. Now let's have a look at few of the problems on circles. Now, whenever the problems on circles question will be asked to you, the questions will be very easy. Either it will be conceptual based, or it will be of the form wherein you are supposed to construct an equation of circle with the data which is provided to you in the question itself. Okay, so the equation of circle with center at origin and radius as 3 units is given by x square plus y square equal to r square. Okay, it is given by x square plus y square equal to r square. So r value is 3, so it can be written as x square plus y square equal to 9. Yes, very good. So let's have a look at the equations. And the correct answer turns out to be option C. Next problem, the equation of the circle with a 2 comma minus 3 and b minus 3 comma 5 as endpoints of its diameter. Now what is the equation of circle with endpoints of diameter provided to us as x1 y1 and x2 y2? That is x minus x1 into x minus x2 plus y minus y1 into y minus y2. So these are the coordinate values x1 y1 x2 y2. Okay, a simple substitution of these values will result into the equation part, that is x minus 2, and it is x minus minus 3, so it is ultimately x plus 3 plus y minus minus 3, so it is ultimately y plus 3 and y minus 5. Now this is equal to 0. Now take the simplification, it is ultimately x square minus 2x and plus 3x, so it is x square plus x minus 6, and it is y square plus 3y minus 5y, so it is minus 2y, and 3 into minus 5 is minus 15 equals 0. Therefore x square plus y square plus x minus 2y minus 15 equals 0. This is the equation of our required circle. Let's have a look at the options which are provided. So amongst the given 4 options, we need to check which option is the best fit, and definitely it's option A according to our obtained result. Okay. Now the last question for our today's topic of discussion, that is the parametric equation of circle. So parametric equation of circle, now see, circle is given to you in this particular format, that is the general form is provided to you, not the standard form. So we need to write this particular equation in a very peculiar way that we can obtain the center points as well as radius. So how to do this, let's have a look. So I will write this equation first, x square plus y square minus 6x plus 4y minus 3 equals 0. Now see, we know that x square minus 6x plus 9 is the perfect square of x minus 3. So rewriting this equation in the form of x square minus 6x plus 9. Okay, and similarly y square plus 4y plus 4 is a perfect square of y plus 2 the whole square. Okay, so I have added 9 and 4, that is I have added 13, so I need to subtract 13, and this minus 3 is also there in the trailing. So rewriting this equation as x minus 3 the whole square plus y plus 2 the whole square minus 16 equals 0. Therefore x minus 3 the whole square plus y plus 2 the whole square equals 16. Now the 16 can be rewritten as 4 square. Okay, so I'm rewriting the 16 as 4 square. I will erase this and I will rewrite as 4 square. Now we are having the coordinates of center point as 3 and minus 2. Make sure it is y plus 2 the whole square. But as and when the standard equation of circle is to be considered, we are having x minus h the whole square plus y minus k the whole square equals r square. So this minus k equal to 2, so k equal to minus 2. Okay, so we have the value of h to be 3 and k to be minus 2, and we have the value of r radius as 4. So the parametric equation of circle is x is equal to h plus r cos theta and y is equal to k plus r sine theta. On substitution of values of h, k and r, we obtain x is equal to, what is h? It is 3 plus 4 cos theta, and y is equal to minus 2 plus 4 sine theta. These are the values which you obtain after simplification. Let's have a look at the parametric equations provided. And yes, we can come to a conclusion that the answer B is matching our required answer. So this is how we do the simplification for the given questions as and when the circle chapter is to be considered. Now with this note, I would hereby like to conclude my today's session on the coordinate geometry 1 portion, wherein we discuss the fundamentals of straight lines and pair of straight lines and circles. I hope so the fundamentals and few of the basic problems were the, you know, it guided you with the revision part of what you have already studied. So I'm really thankful to ATLIS team to provide me this wonderful opportunity to take the complex classes for mathematics. And I would now like to hand over the further part of this session to the admin team.